go for a little back bendy, mobilizing theme. If we start just in our kind of usual seated pose, sitting tall, closing eyes, and we'll take 5 breaths to start. And for your last breath, a full inhale through the nose. Sigh to release. And then dropping the chin down to the chest and at the same time blinking the eyes open. We'll start rolling our head from one side to the next. Just moving fairly slowly. Noticing how this feels in your body. And then arriving into the center, you're going to pull up on your knees, squeeze between shoulders, lift the face to the sky, trying to arch your back a little. Good. And then curl yourself in like a ball, chin to the chest, lean to the back of your sit bones. Breathing in, coming back up. Good. Stick your bottom out behind you, chest lifts. Exhaling, tucking under with the tailbone as you curl. Just trying to find as much movement in the spine as possible, rising and coming down again. Lovely, and on this one, we'll use our arms, so open them out wide, squeeze between shoulders, face to sky. Exhaling, arms up and over, curling with the spine, reaching forwards. Inhale, rise back again. Good, exhale. One more. Then reaching tall, take your hand to one side, a light stretch over. If you can, moving a little deeper into it, maybe the elbow falls to the floor. Keep extending out through the fingertips. Good, pressing, rising back up. Same on the other side. Again, perhaps you can come a little lower down. Good, and then rising back up. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to take our hands behind us. I'll show you sideways. So you'll squeeze between shoulders and push the chest out. Lovely, trying to relax the knees down, face to the sky. Good. Then leaning into your hands a little, bending your elbows, spring back up and clasp your hands together. Good, pulling them away from the back a little. So really try to focus on the squeeze between the shoulders as step 1. Step 2 would be pulling the hands away. Fantastic. And release. Hands back behind you again, fingertips pointing forwards. Find the squeeze between shoulders, untangle your legs, and then press into your feet, squeezing glutes as you rise. Wonderful. You can keep the chin tucked in or you can drop the head back. Draw the chin towards the chest, slowly lower your bottom down. Good, you're going to cross your legs, roll forward over your knees, and bring the big toes together, hips back towards the heels, sliding the hands forwards. Here, coming into child's pose, really keep walking the hands forward. If you can, float the head so we get more room for the chest to fall. Press down into your fingertips. Walk your hands towards one side. The hand that's closest to the middle of the mat is going to stretch further forward, so you get a really nice stretch down the side of your body, maybe into the armpit. Then come and do the same on the other side. Return back to the middle, walk your hands towards you and find yourself into all fours position. Good, okay, so starting with circles with the pelvis. Being sure to tuck under and then stick up around the hips. Lovely, finding as much movement as possible. And then making the circles a little bigger, coming forward over knees, over wrists. Bending into elbows. Lovely, and return into a neutral position in the middle here. So we're going to press through the tops of our feet, send our chest forward, slide the shoulders down the back, inner elbows point towards the front. Breathing out, pushing away, chin to chest, arching through the spine. Breathe in, lengthen forwards. Wonderful, breathing out, pressing away. And again. Good, pushing away. Last one. Good, and rounding through the back. Then open your knees out a little wider, bring the big toes together again, and send the elbows to the floor. They're going to walk a bit further forward than the hands were. You can start to drop the chest down. Lovely. Sit, sticking your bottom right up. Good, and try to look forwards if that's comfortable for the neck. Press down into the elbows, take the forearms down and the stomach to the floor. Wriggling your feet a little further back behind you. Good, we can press into our elbows now. Press into the pubic bone so the lower back feels relaxed and into the tops of the feet. Draw your hands towards you, sending the heart forwards. Good. And then here you might like to roll with the head. So starting with chin down to chest. And going from side to side, nice and slow. Then releasing hands under shoulders, or if you know you're quite bendy in your spine, you can take them closer to the ribs. You're going to keep pressing through the tops of the feet. Keep the pubic bone down as you start to rise. Keeping a bend into your elbows, heart moves forwards. Lovely. Lower back to the floor. Breathing in, rising tall. Breathing out, down. And just keep this flow going a few times. Last one. Now press back, bring your knees together. I'm going to try and set the hips down towards the heels, wrap the hands around you, and drop the forehead to the floor. Breathe in, start to uncurl. And if you can, just sitting on your heels. Good, if not, we can always take a cushion. Okay, so you're going to take hands onto your knees now. Start sliding them down towards you as you really curl in on yourself. Spinal rolls again, so hands draw closer to your hips. As you do, bottom out behind you, chest lifts, face lift. Good, curling in on yourself. Lifting open. Curling in. And lifting. Wonderful. Come to a neutral spine and then rest on your knees, but I would take them hip distance apart. Good. So we're going to take our hand onto the lower back with the palms facing, not palms, fingers facing down. Squeeze between your elbows. Lovely. So you're trying to wing them towards each other. And then you'll notice how you'll probably come into this sort of position with the bottom sticking out. We're going to tuck under through the pelvis as much as possible. Good. Engage thighs, engage into your glutes, lift tall, and start to tip back over your fingers. Lovely. Maybe you can look up here. Then find the hands towards the heart, maintaining that gentle back bend. Good. And rising into neutral. Take the hands down on the floor in front of you, tuck it under through the toes. Push to downward dog. You can do it with a bend in the knee, or you can start to straighten out the legs and dropping the head down. Just doing whatever feels comfortable here and necessary. Good. Okay, so spinal waves from your downward dog. Make sure your feet aren't too close to your hands. We're going to rise up onto our toes. Start curling through the spine as you end up rounding your back, coming forwards. And then you're going to bend your knees, send your bottom up as you push back. Straightening the legs, rounding through the spine, coming forwards. Good. Bending knees, bottom leads the movement, rising tall. Wonderful. Just doing this a few times. Last one. Fantastic. And then slowly walking feet all the way up towards the hands. When you get stuck, hands back towards the feet. Bend your knees, taking Uttanasana, forward fold, just swaying side to side. Release the hands to the floor. Slowly roll through each of your vertebrae, finding yourself in a standing position. Take shoulders back and down. Keep the head down just another moment. And then lifting the head. Good. Okay, so we're going to come into Wild Thing on each side. Quick demo as a reminder. So we will flow into downward facing. From there, you'll send one leg up. You'll open your hip out and bend your knee, step 1. Step 2, foot comes behind you. Turn your foot on the mat and push away from the floor, reaching your arm either up or above you. So we'll start from the top end of the mat. Yeah, and then we'll flow. Breathe, eyes lengthen halfway. Exhale, take your hands high plank pose. Lovely. Drop down knees. Squeeze between your shoulders. Good. Let's start with our left leg, lifting it high. And you can keep a bend into the right if it's too strong on that leg. You're then going to open out with the left hip, bending the foot, bringing it towards the bottom. If you can, drop the foot behind you and at the same time push the hips away from the floor. Good. Bring your arm up overhead. Lovely. Look towards your hand if you feel stable. And then flipping back over, come through your plank pose. Good. Drop knees, toes, and chest again. Squeezing between shoulders, rising up. Breathing out, push back, downward facing dog. Good. Other side, lift up, right leg. Again, you can bend your left knee if needed. Open out with your hip. Try and get the foot towards the bottom. Lovely. And then we'll drop our foot behind us, turning the foot that's on the mat, turning the hips, turning the chest, looking towards the hand if you feel stable. Finding your back bend here. And then coming back into your plank, dropping down knees, toes, chest. Lovely. Squeeze between shoulders. And push back, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, or child's pose. Look between your hands and begin to walk the feet forwards. Bring the hands back to the feet when needed. Bend your knees deeply, holding onto elbows. A little roll. Releasing the hands down, we can peel all the way up to stand again. Keep the head down a moment longer, hands to the side. And then lifting the head. Good, and just bear with me, I'm going to check the time. My phone's gone off. Fabulous. Okay, so we're going to do a standing balance. Nice easy one, tree, and then we're coming into our dancer pose, which is a little bit harder and throws in the back bend. So if you spread your toes, take the heel either against the ankle, the calf, or lift the leg up and place it against the thigh. We're going to squeeze together, press into our big toe to keep our hip into the midline, and then hands to heart. Good. If this feels super easy, try taking the arms up above you, finding a fixed point to focus on. Good. Push the leg back in towards the foot to help with balance. Stop it slipping. Keeping your position, drop your hands behind you. See if you can hold on to maybe the forearms, or if you can, the elbows. Lovely. Maintain your arms there, and let's try and come into our pose on the other side. So you'll see where you can actually get your leg without adjusting. Good. Make sure you then try and square off your hip. Lovely. Now releasing the arms up and above you. Palms pressed towards each other, perhaps they can even touch. Good. And releasing all the way down. Okay, so we're coming into our dancer pose. I'll show it to you sideways because it's easier. If you start by bringing your leg towards you, hold the foot in both hands, press the knees together, and then if you're able to, tuck under through the tailbone if the heel is quite close towards the body. Wonderful. Once the quad has relaxed a little bit, reach down and take hold of either the ankle if you can, or just the foot, it's fine. You're going to lift up with the opposite arm. Push your foot back into the hand. Use glute strength to lift the leg high, and then think about the heart coming forwards, but you're not lowering down. Wonderful. Good. Trying to keep the hips fairly level towards the floor here. Then we can release. You're going to bring the leg towards you, hold around the shin if possible, and just shake out the foot a little. A few circles in one direction, then in the other. Lovely, and release. So do the same on the other side. Bring the foot towards you, take the warm up to begin with. Then reaching down your leg, extend up with the opposite arm, push the foot back, engage glute strength, lifting the leg high, then the heart travels forwards to find the back bend. Lovely, really nice. You can slowly release, bringing the leg forward again. If you're able to, taking around the shin, if not, the thigh is fine, and let's make circles. And in the other direction. Lovely, and release. Good. To the top end of your mat, last little flow, and a long hold stretch. Breathing in, arms reach high. Breathing out, folding forwards. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands down. Step back, high plank. Lower knees, toes, and chest. Good. Squeeze between shoulders, peel up. And then push back into child's pose. Bring the big toes together. Lovely. Just let yourself rest here. Now press into your hands, walk them towards you, spin your legs around, and we're going to come into our final pose, which will be a longer hold of Baddha Konasana. So I find this one's really nice for the lower back once we've done quite a lot of stuff. So what I wouldn't do is have the legs too close, because we want it for the back. I'd bring them a little further forward, that's it. Opening the feet out, sit tall, and then pulling on the feet, encourage yourself down. Trying to lead with heart. If you are able to reach, you might want to just encourage some more movement on the legs. Lovely. Let your back round right at the last moment, but most of the movement needs to come from hips. Breathing in, begin to rise up. Come to a seated pose, whatever feels good. Wonderful. And we'll close with 5 breaths as we started. So just drawing the chin in a little, ensuring the spine feels as long as possible. Take your 5 deep breaths. And a full breath in. Gaze down, sigh to release. And blink the eyes open. Thank you very much. Thank you.